Hi, friends, and welcome to another episode of Area 312 Rock and Metal Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Kent, along with my co-host.
Rex.
Friends, back with us today, a guest co-host. We know him, we love him from MegaJeff's Rock Hard Vinyl and Heaven's Metal Online Magazine, Jeff McCormack. Welcome back, Jeff.
Good morning. Good morning. Great to be here.
Friends, our next guest, he's highly esteemed for being the guitarist in Veni Domine. As well, he's brought the lead guitar firepower to Divine Fire's first album, Glory Thy Name. And he's also brought his lead guitar work to the Focus album by Audiovision. And today he's still active in the ministry, in the TV industry, and also music with his brother Thomas, where he's the vocalist and guitarist in Cell 9. And so today we welcome guitarist and vocalist Torbjörn. Welcome, Torbjörn. Honor to have you, sir.
Thanks, guys. Really happy to be here.
Torb, I'm just going to ask for the record because I would completely mess this up. How do you pronounce your last name, brother?
Yeah, okay. So here we go. It's Weinesjö.
Wow.
You need to practice that later on, right?
Weinesjö.
Weinesjö. That's good.
That.
That's close enough.
Well, Torb, it's an honor to have you, and we're going to start out at square one. It just makes sense to do so, and we'd like to ask, who are some of your influences for music and the guitar?
Yes. Okay. So here we go. I started playing guitar when I was like 13, 14, I think. I started as a drummer back in the day, and I mean, back in my home with my parents, we listened to Beatles, we listened to Elvis, we listened to ABBA, of course, and yeah, a lot of the different genres, So so I always liked melodies, that was kind of what I got out of it, and of course we participated in church and stuff like that, so it was a lot of melodies all the time. So that's kind of my thing in music. I love melodies,
Sure.
So as far as guitar, I played the drums, and then I switched to guitars. I love electrics. I'm kind of poking around with like, electric stuff. I really love the small pedals. The small dots and LEDs that were shining. So I started playing guitar, and my first, I listened to Ace of Kiss. And I listened to Steve Lukather of Toto, Lee Ritenour. It's more of a jazz fusion player, and Richie Blackmore, of course, Deep Purple, and then Rainbow, and later on it was Gary Moore, a lot of Gary Moore. Loved his playing, his soulful playing. And so on. And I guess those are the guys that I still listen to quite a lot when I go back to enjoy some guitar. There are a lot of great players these days. So yeah.
Yeah. A lot of classic players you mentioned. And, Torb, you're also a vocalist. Who would be some of your vocal influences?
I love the rock style. I'm kind of I'm not that high pitched as heavy metal goes, So, but I love. Everyone that has their own expression is very interesting to me. I'm not super into the copycat thing. I really love the originality. I think God created us as individuals, with a personality, and I simply love when that comes through. Even when I work as a producer, I love to try to find that personality in people. So yeah, so I don't really have any. There's a lot of good. Like say Fergie Fredriksson on the Isolation album of Toto, for instance. I think it was fantastic. Of course, all those vocalists are great. But like Coverdale and Fredrik, of course, of Veni Domine, is fantastic, as well as Christian Narnia, and the guy I'm working with right now, Germán Pascual, He's fantastic as well. So I've been really blessed with the opportunity to record and to produce and to work with fantastic vocalists. So
So you mentioned, and forgive me, Torb, if I'm mispronouncing his first name, please correct me where I'm wrong. Germán Pascual, did you work on his recent album that he's put out?
you know, I have to think about that, to be honest. Uh, I mean, we keep in touch, of course, me and Sherman, and I helped out with the lyrics on his first release, A New Beginning, way back, and we've been keeping in contact. I mean, we talk regularly, and I think and yeah, I was part of one of the songs. I think I can't really recall. I think we wrote lyrics on that one. So yeah, sorry about that, but it's so many things going on all the time. So yeah.
Well, I don't want to put the cart ahead of the horse, but Cell 9, I know that your first release, I believe, was in 2016, and I have known you all these years for Veni Domine, especially, these two albums, which have just kind of been made readily available here in the States over the last month or two. I've always known you as a tremendous guitarist, but you've also taken on the role of lead vocalist that I've known you with Cell 9. So
Yeah.
is that a harder process? Was that easy going from a primarily lead guitarist to also taking on lead vocal duties? Is that no step for a stepper such as you, or did it take a little bit to kind of get into that role as both?
Well, I don't think I really stepped into that role perfectly well yet. I mean, that's a lifetime achievement, I would say. So the reasons for why that happened is, I mean, there's a lot of things behind those decisions, of course, but and I never really saw myself as a lead vocalist, but how things turned out, this was the project that actually got recorded. So and I was doing the vocals, and I enjoyed it a lot. It's something. I mean, it's about. I think one of the parts is about growth as a human being. I love to express I always wrote lyrics. I always wrote the melodies, and all of that. So I felt very connected with these songs. So therefore, it felt natural to do the vocals on them. Um, yeah.
Cool, cool. So a little bit about, Vinnie Domine, for instance. I know that Vinnie Domine came from Seventh Seal, and that came from Glorify, if I'm not mistaken. Prior to Glorify, were you in any bands prior to Glorify? Or, what was your first band? And tell me about the music style that you were playing back then.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, Glorify must have been like 1986 or something like that. I mean, I was 16 years old. I just played guitars for a few years. So before that, I mean, we had bands in school, that were not particularly labeled Christian. I mean, I always had kind of more friends with out of church than inside the church. So I always hang with those musicians, and that was fantastic. So I think that one of the first band we had in school was named Cumulonimbus. It's also Latin because it's the thunderclouds. So early on, it was a bit heavy, a bit a
Yeah,
bit doomy.
yeah, Cumulonimbus, I get it.
Yeah, we didn't record anything. I mean, we did a few demos, but we were all beginners and such. So, but after that, I was looking for a band with Christian background, so to speak.
Mhm.
And then I found some guys in Stockholm, and this is kind of fun story. The band we named the band, if the band was already named when I started, but was called Disciple. And there are a few disciples out there, bands. So I remember we actually got a letter from I think it was a New York-based disciples, I think. Not sure really. Perhaps you guys know that. If I mean, not the disciples that are playing out, playing, touring these days with Kevin Young, I guess, with fantastic band, by the way. I love them. But so we got a letter from a lawyer from this pen disciple, and with small kids from Sweden, Stockholm, you know. We were like, "What is this? You need to change your name." You know? And we were, okay, let's do
Oh,
it. Yeah, so that was kind of interesting. Anyway, so that was the first band within the Christian scene, like, and that was like, I mean, we played like, was it heavy metal like Iron Maiden or whatever was around. I mean, we were quite young back then, so we yeah. So the fun part about it is that Niklas, who was the vocalist in that band, is actually the bass player in Cell 9 these days. So we reconnected on a few years back. You know, we always kept in touch. You know, but so that's yeah.
that's cool that that came full circle. That's really
Yeah,
neat.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and he's a fantastic guy and a great musician and a singer. So yeah.
So Torb, you mentioned, looking to play with like-minded Christians back in the day with the heavy metal music. And so I'd like to ask then at this juncture, when did your relationship with Jesus the Christ begin?
Yes, that's. I mean, I don't have a definite year or occasion.
Sure.
You know, I always felt connected with God,
Mhm.
and even at a young age. I mean, I remember like I was 5 or 6 years old. You know, I felt His presence. You know, and I made my. I was baptized when I was 10. You know, because I was totally clear on what I wanted to do with my life. So I can't really say when. You know, because it always. And early on, you know, I made some kind of deal with God. I didn't know really how everything worked, you know. But I said to God, "Okay, you God, you're with me, and I will be totally honest with you." And that's our deal from start, you know. He kept his promises, and I kind of kept mine. Not all the time, but I try to.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's, I mean, I so remember when I was young, you know, and I always felt a responsibility towards my neighborhood, you know, since very young age, you know, even though my compass was not properly adjusted, perhaps I had a extremely strong feeling about right and wrong. So I was messing around with that, you know, and try to make things right for everyone, and yeah. So I always had this connection with God, and later on yeah, and God and church are two different things, but perhaps we will get into that later. I don't know, but yeah. So that's yeah.
Well, very cool, very cool. Jeff, Rex, I'm going to delve into a different chapter. Y'all have anything you'd like to ask regarding the early years of Torb and his music? And
Well, Torb, what because I'm of course not familiar with Sweden, but like the town or the area that you grew up in, was it a lot of the city, or was it more in the country? Or if you could kind of tell us maybe what the area was like that you grew up in, that I'd be curious to know that.
Yeah, sure. That's a good question. We I grew up in Sollentuna. It's called. It's like 20 kilometers north of Stockholm, so
Okay.
it's a suburb. Um, and it's like nowadays it's like 80, 90,000 people here.
Okay.
So it's I mean Stockholm is growing all the time. So I mean in a few years I guess we will be part of Stockholm.
Hmm.
I guess so. Yeah. So
Gotcha.
it's yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Torb, I'm gonna kind of start from the more modern and then work our way back a little bit. But when you and I were discussing a few things, you're involved with ministry today as well as the TV industry.
Yeah.
And you mentioned to me that you've been one of the elders in your church and you're now a vice director working close with your lead pastor. So I would like to ask what all that entails.
Yeah, I mean, to go back a bit just to explain why things are like things are. I mentioned it just a few minutes ago about church and God, and I never really felt comfortable in the church, to be honest, and still sometimes I don't. But I think I was like in my 30s or something, when I had a car ride with one of my colleagues, and he asked me, Torbjörn, what's church like, really? He was not Christian. And I just felt like I had to be honest. Well, it's not. I don't think it's that good, actually. I don't like it really, and that kind of started something in me. I mean, by being honest about it, something happened inside of me, and I thought that okay, this is not cool. I need to do something about it, because the Bible speaks of the church very warmly, and yeah. So anyhow, I decided, okay, even I wouldn't leave God. My faith is I mean that's what I base my entire life on. So I decided to okay, I will either engage or I will drop out of church, this church in particular. Anyway, so I engaged. So I started to, I mean, it was totally basic. I started to have some kids over at church, and we played some rock and roll music, with
Yeah.
the kids, and just starting out, with something. I didn't know what to do. And I never really understood church. I don't get it. What are we doing here, really? Anyhow, and the one thing led to another, and just a few years after that, I was asked to join the group of elders in the church, and I was appointed that, and I kind of felt, and I knew, and that's kind of the fun thing about the spirituality thing. I had a feeling that this was going to happen, so I was not at all surprised when the question came, and it was like, okay, this is what's meant to be, and it's not always fun and everything, but it's work. I mean, it's really hard work. Yeah. So, and I don't know how you have it in your churches, but this is a Pentecostal church. So we have normally I would say we have a group of elders and we have a group on the board, the kind of the theological side and the economical side, if you like, but nowadays we've moved these two groups together, and we have the main pastor, the lead pastor, and we have the leader of the board, which is not me, and we have the vice director. The pastor is the director, and I'm kind of the responsible guy from the congregation if something would have to happen to the pastor, or if he leaves or something like that. So we have some kind of continuity, I guess the word is. Yeah. So yeah, so that's where we are at this point. So I've been that guy for like 3 or 4 years or something like that. So we're building a new church now, actually. So it's a lot of work.
Well, that's wonderful, Torb. That's really wonderful. And I'm just listening to you speak about it. I'm reminded that we are the church,
Yeah.
and you us being a part of the church, and you being who you are, you could bring a part of yourself to the church and show those kids that hey, church can be fun and exciting. It's part of that abundant life in Christ, and I'm sure you're blessing a lot of people, is what I'm trying to say. So I think that's wonderful, and that you're doing that. And
Thank you. Yeah, thanks.
Torb, you also mentioned that you have a full-time job in the TV industry, and I'm just curious about that. Could you elaborate just a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been blessed with I've been with this company for like 25 years now. And it's mainly I do sports, live sports,
Cool.
and it's I wouldn't say it's the sometimes they say it's the ESPN of Europe, but it's not. I mean, ESPN is huge. Well, we're huge as well. So, but anyhow, so I mean, it's been a lot of mergers and a lot of whatever, So right now, I think it's the second largest media house in the world. So it's a big place, But Sweden is still kind of a small place. So I'm the technical manager for Sweden with the focus on audio. I'm the audio lead, as they say. So. Yeah, so I work with we have the Olympics coming up quite soon, so we just started doing tests for that, and yeah, right now we have the local soccer, the football. We call it football, you call it soccer, I guess. So
Sure.
so the top two tiers in Sweden we do the broadcast for. So yeah, so sometimes I do broadcast audio, and sometimes mostly I do the planning and since we're based all over Europe, I mean, I keep in contact with the other Torbs around the around the markets,
Sure.
planning and well, just I mean, audio is one thing. I mean, the audio in the broadcast, you hear the audio and think it sounds good or bad, but the big thing, really, I would say, is to transport audio over the world. How do we transport audio? How do we communicate? Within a broadcast, for instance, that's really the tricky part. If you have reporters out all over the world, to have connections and yeah, that's a
How did
little.
you get started in that, Torb? I'm curious. How did that happen?
Yeah, it was a fluke, I would say, fluke, and it was actually Gabriel, the bass player of Veni Domine, not the original member, but Gabriel was with the reunion now, and he actually worked extra for this company, and they were looking for staff, so I worked extra there
Hmm.
and did in broadcast, doing audio and connecting stuff, whatever.
Cool.
As mentioned earlier, I like electronics and systems and stuff, so
Hmm.
so it
Yep.
suited me. And
Awesome.
I kind of lied when sorry guys, but I kind of lied when I got the job because they were looking actually when I started to work extra, they were hiring three guys and I applied and they said I should apply for the job, and I applied for one of the evening shifts because I didn't want to work daytime really, but during the interview they said, okay, Torbjörn, I think you should apply for the manager spot really. And I thought, well, okay. So they showed me the drawings of the studio, the technical drawings. And I said, do you think that you can, if everything was broken, do you think you can put this together? I said, yeah, no problem. I hadn't, I shouldn't say that I had no idea, but of course I couldn't do it. But but it was good enough anyway. So it it worked out.
Cool.
Very cool. Very cool. So,
Yeah.
Torb, let's talk then about your recent musical output, which includes Cell 9. I think that was formed in 2015. The Devil's Feast was the first album released in 2016. And as you mentioned earlier, I think your brother Thomas, who was in Veni Domine, he's the drummer in that band. And
Yeah.
then the Second Coming album from Cell 9 was released in 2022. Um, Tell us about where the band name came from.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I don't know if you guys play. Do you guys play instruments?
A little
Do you,
bit.
do you guys play in a band? You know how difficult it is to find a
Sure.
band name,
Oh my gosh, those days. Oh yeah, the lists and the lists and oh yeah, I've done that many times.
Yeah, so yeah, that's let's start there. So the thing is that we rehearse in a complex, so to say, with a lot of rehearsal rooms, and our rehearsal room was in the basement, and it was number 9. So it was like a cell down there, because we had the bars over the windows, and it looks like a cell. So and we've been there rehearsing with Veni Domine. I think we've been there for like 25, 30 years rehearsing in the same place. But it was the name for the band, Cell 9, yeah.
So Tor, a lot of the song structures from Cell 9, from what I've heard, they're a little more economical and compact than say like the power metal and the progressive passages of Veni Domine. So tell us about what contributed to the different song structure style in Cell 9 versus where you came from in Veni Domine.
Yeah, it's you know I again, it's a very good question. I haven't really thought about it to be honest, because I mean, I mean, when you open the the floodgate of writing music, I mean, it's for me in a way, it's just keeps giving.
Mhm.
I mean, it's kind of relentless because I sometimes I just have to stop it because it's too much sometimes, it's just and I just to write. I mean, I love music. I love all kinds of music. It's Veni Domine. I mean, it was of course a collaboration with the band with Frederick. He's a fantastic songwriter, fantastic arranger, and so in Veni Domine on the earlier albums, especially, we worked closer together. But on the Cell 9, I thought I would. The it's Veni Domine music back in the day in a way. I mean, today there's so much difficult music to play, intricate music, and Veni Domine was. I can't recall any other band sounding exactly like Veni Domine back in the day. I mean, even though there are similarities with other bands, and we really wanted to find something special, something that stood out and something that actually sounded like us, As mentioned before, I think we're all created in a special way. I mean, we're wired differently and like to take that, extend that into the music. And so for Cell 9, I guess I wanted to do something differently, something a little bit more compact, as you say, and I think it's spot on. It's not too complicated, not, but it kind of gets complicated anyway because a lot of time, not a lot time changes, but some time changes, and there are some key changes, and yeah, but the songs are shorter for sure. So yeah, I just wanted to keep it a bit more compact than Veni Domine and do something differently. I mean, we've done Veni Domine was like 27 years or something like that. I lived and bled Veni Domine for so long, and I loved it. It was everything I wanted to do basically. But yeah, time changes.
There's so much going down in this cold-hearted cyber town.
You and I discussing a few things. Now, Spotify is not my world. I'm still old school physical media, stuff like that. Um, but you have some other undertakings that you're involved with. I believe the Redstone Project, and I don't know if you call it FOUR or FOUR, but I know that these projects are on Spotify. Just talk to us about those things.
Yeah, I mean, as mentioned, I write a lot of music all the time, and the Redstone project was the first one actually where I actually did vocals as well. So it was basically the Redstone project was really the name of it actually refers to the I can't recall exactly where it is in the Bible, but about to having a heart of stone. It's my red stone. It's I need to humble myself. So I started to sing, and that's a great way to stay humble.
Yeah.
So that was the plan with that. Really, it didn't really turn out or actually, I didn't have a big plan with it. I just wanted to write the music, and I was kind of fed up with not fed up with record companies per se, but I mean the whole process of. I mean, it's a big process to release an album. There's a lot of things to do, and I mean, it's quite easy. I mean, I do all the recordings and the producing and mixing and mastering myself, so it's just easier to click the button and get it on Spotify than to shop for a deal or whatever, you know. So yeah. So that's and the four, I call it four. That was I want to do something a bit more symphonic, perhaps something else, and I did it with my son Jonathan. He plays the drums on that one, so I wanted to do something with together with him. So that was a great way to spend time together, I would say. Um, so yeah, that's short about that.
Well, that's wonderful. So, now, Torb, today is the 27th of September, 2025. And to our viewers out there, friends, we always have to record ahead of time. It's kind of like booking concerts for a tour or something, you know. And but the reason why I'm mentioning this, Torb, is because um, you have some news coming out that you mentioned to me in a few days on October the 1st.
Yeah,
Now, by the time this airs, it will be a couple months after that. But it's still a good thing to remind viewers of things that are out there. So, what is this news, Torb, if you can share it, that you wish to convey about October the 1st that's coming out?
yeah, absolutely. It's I'm very excited about it. It's been a long time coming to record this album. It's set to be the press release will be out on the first from Rocks Records, right? Yeah, so we're going the record deal again. So we're doing with no, and it's not Veni Domine. It's not Veni
Okay,
Domine.
it's okay.
And it's me and my brother Thomas again, of course. We recorded so many albums together, and it's with Germán Pascual on vocals. And actually, we ended up with Gabriel from Veni Domine on bass as well. So it's a hard rock project. It's a melodic hard rock project, 70, 80s style, something like that. And I mean, me and Germán has been talking about this since like I think since he joined Narnia for back in the day, you know,
Mhm.
because he's a fantastic. And I heard immediately when I heard the fun thing again. I mean, this is kind of there's a lot of fun things, guys. Germán actually grew up. He's from Uruguay, I think, from starts, you know. But he lived in Sollentuna, where I live, when we were kids. But I never met him, as I remember back then. So it's kind of yeah, coming full circle. Yeah. So we
So
had
it's kind of it's a little bit like a super group then.
super. Yeah, that's a big word. Yeah. Well, I don't know about that, but I've had. I mean, I love this project or band. You know, I think it's. Germán is a fantastic guy, of course. I mean, otherwise we would not work together. And the thing is, when I heard, I mean, Germán perhaps is most known for his metal style, which he does very, very well, you know. But when I heard him sing, I thought this guy got a soul vibe that I really liked. I really would like to explore that in the hard rock sense of things, and I think we really got something really good out of him on this album. I mean, so let's see what I mean. If you're expecting heavy metal, then it's you're gonna be disappointed. But
Hard rock, though, maybe hard rock.
hard rock, absolutely, yeah. Hard rock,
Nice.
it's a four piece, and it's guitar, bass, and drums. I mean, it's pretty basic. It's not many overdubs and stuff like that. It's pretty bare bones, I would say. Bare
Well, I
bones
like
hard rock.
hard rock's great. Now, Torb, I don't think, and I don't know if you can you divulge the name of your group? What's
Oh
the
yeah,
name?
of course. Sorry, of course. So the name is Bethesda. It's from the Bible, you know, the
Yes.
pool of Bethesda.
Uh-huh.
So Bethesda is the name of the band, and we're actually we did the photo shoot actually on Thursday this week. So yeah,
Nice. Can you divulge the name of the album?
it will be self-titled.
Okay. Okay,
It's
wonderful.
you know it's the same with finding a band name of the band. You know it's the same with the record name of the record. You know it's
Sure.
it's really difficult. Some guys want to have a song, you know, that will set the tone for the album, and some don't want to have the one of the songs. Well, you know how it is. Yeah.
And this album will still be coming out in 2025, Torb?
No, it will be out in as it said now. Let's see what happens when this
Yep.
when this episode is out, guys. Late January
Okay.
2026.
Okay. Cool.
Wonderful. Well, this might just be right on time then, Torb.
Yeah,
So,
that's
yeah.
good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this. I think it was a, I mean, we recorded it for like I think we during a period of like 2.5 years or something like that. So it's a it's too long a project to really, to be honest. But I mean, everyone is very busy, and you have to be responsible adult as well. Hmm?
Probably working on a second album by now, right?
You know, actually,
Okay,
you know,
so
that's and the thing is that wouldn't have been a problem, honestly, to write the songs for it. And but time is I wouldn't say time is not on our side, because I mean everyone I mean everyone has the 24 hours a day, but you know, I'm 55 these days, you know, and I'm not feeling the same energy as as I once did.
Hmm.
Even though I love it, and I truly feel that this has something special to it. But and I hope so. Yeah.
He came as a child to a tired world.
Torb, I'd like to delve in now. Let's go back to that British Greenbelt Festival where the Kingsway music representatives were attending. And they were so impressed with this group. I think it might have been Seventh Seal. Maybe it was Glorify. I'm not exactly sure. But you guys were offered a contract from the Kingsway music representatives. So tell us how that transpired. They heard you play and said, "Hey guys, tell us
Yeah.
about that."
Okay. I'll be freebasing the memory here. Okay.
Sure.
The thing is that actually there was this wonderful man called Dave Williams, a British fella that was he was a manager for different bands. Sorry, Dave, if you hear this, I don't really remember everything around this time, but he was there at the Greenbelt Festival, so he contacted Kingsway and thought that it would be a good fit. The thing is that the show itself, I mean, it was a really hot day. We were in a tent, like I don't know if 1,000 people tent. You know, it was super hot, and the guitars went out of tune. You know, and we were like, I mean, we didn't. I mean, we were young still. You know, we were like 19, 20 years old or something like that. And I mean, back in the day, there was no internet. Sometimes you forget about it. You know, we never really sent out any demos. Really, I remember we sent one demo out to the Greenbelt Festival by mail, snail mail. You know, in a letter. You know, like that. And months later, we got a reply, and yes, you're welcome to play. Be here at that hour, and blah 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 in a letter. You know, and okay, let's go. How do we travel to England? Yeah, that's a good question. So, yeah, so we have to find. I mean, yeah, it was yeah, it's not as easy as it is today, to find the bookings and boats or ferries or whatever. So I remember we packed our Magnus, the bass player back in the day, his car, with a box on the roof. I don't know what you call it in English, on top loader there, and it was we were really the car was on his knees, because it was so heavy, with all the keyboards, and we played keyboards with our feet and stuff like that back in the day, and yeah. So anyhow, sorry,
That's
I'm
okay.
I'm drifting. So anyhow, so we played the concert. White Cross was headlining that show and was super nice guys. Fantastic band. I mean, they were really good. I can't remember the other bands on the bill, but I remember, the because it was so hot and humid, everybody just left the tent after the band before us, and the tent was empty. We were just like, come on, guys, we spent a week just traveling and planning, and everyone is gone, when we started out. But as soon as we started play, and Frederick with his vocals, screaming, high pitched, and people just flooding into the tent, it was a fantastic moment. I will never forget that. It's that was yeah, that's a good memory. So anyhow, Dave took contact with Kingsway Music, and off we went from there. So we signed a 2 record deal, if I recall correctly, and started to record in England then, in Eastbourne, England, 1991, I guess. Yeah, 1991. I got married that year as well. So my lovely wife had to plan on the wedding herself. So yeah.
Why did y'all change the name before the album came out?
And
Were you forced to?
that's a
Gotta
good
let
that's a good question. Perhaps I might, I mentioned the disciple story. Perhaps there was a seven seal story around that as well. That we were not allowed to have the seven seal name. I memory escapes me. Uh,
Well, Torb, let's talk. So in 1988, under Seventh Seal,
yeah,
a pair of three-song demos found the light of day.
yeah.
And then there was a third three-song demo in 1990. So that makes 9 songs in all. And this was under Seventh Seal. So 9 songs would comprise a full album. So here's where I'm going as a fan.
When is Rock's going to reissue that as an album, right?
Is there any chance of
I
these
didn't see
being
that one coming.
remastered or re-released as the Seventh Seal demos, the early works of Veni Domine?
Yeah, it's been a lot isn't is to exaggerate perhaps, but there's been talks during the years for this, and I mean the first demo I think we did under as Glorify, I think the
Cool.
first demo, and the second demo was Seven Seal, and the third one was Seven Seal as well, but that one contained 3 of the songs on the first album.
Right.
So yeah. So, but I don't know. We have had them remastered, so they're ready to go. We'll see what happens.
That's when I discovered them back because I had my own magazine in 90, 91, and I guess I got a promo pack from somebody in Sweden that had the seventh seal of that demo, and I
Wow.
just fell in, and it wasn't like I've seen pictures online of an actual with the cover and everything. This was just a tape with handwritten seventh seal. And I think the back of it, I mean, they had a couple bands in there that were not the same style. For some reason, I'm thinking Disciple was one of them. I don't know if there was another, couldn't have been another Disciple, but it was a bunch of bands that whoever your promoters or whoever your people handled. But I just remember being just totally blown away by that Seventh Seal. And then, yeah, when the album came out, those songs were on there, and I'm just like, yes.
Yeah.
But I wasn't aware of any previous stuff. But yeah,
Well,
those
that's
are
fantastic.
to hear.
That's a good story. Thanks. I actually don't remember things being sent over to the US of that batch, but apparently, I mean, we didn't have anyone working for us. I mean,
Really? It was
yeah,
like it had like a little folder with paper describing each band, and then there
really.
was like a tape that had 2 or 3 bands on it, maybe more than one tape. But
All
um,
right.
came from somebody over there that was pushing it. I don't know if it was a label or what, but they sent it to the
Perhaps
magazine. So
because we weren't on any label, and by that time, I guess we didn't. I mean, we kind of like signed with this with David Williams back in the UK around the Greenbelt Festival. Before that, we didn't have any representation, so to speak. Perhaps we had some friends knowing someone who helped someone, that's possible, but that's a good story.
But I think fans would be very interested to have all 9
Yes.
Seventh Seal demos, Torb. I would really hope you guys do something with those for the fans.
Oh, you're being kind now. Thank you. Yeah, perhaps. I mean, we're not. I mean, we're not. But the thing with the Veni Domine I mean, it's in the past really for all of us. I mean, we were kind of surprised that we actually did a sort of reunion thing last year, because I mean, every year there has been so much talk or so many labels. There's been quite a few labels anyway to want to do the re-releases, but it never panned out because I don't know what. I mean, the rights were with the old Thunderload company, and yeah, they were locked down there. So Christian Lilligren did a fantastic job to get the stuff out. I mean, can't thank him enough. He's a fantastic guy. So having that said, I mean, Veni Domine was. I mean, I'm not really that into the past, to be honest. I like to think forward, and I appreciate that. I mean, I'm really surprised that someone even remembers the band and the albums. I mean, it blew my mind. I had no idea that people really cared about it. I mean, I know people cared about it back then, but still, I mean, it's 30 years ago, so.
you mentioned the the reissues, which are obviously sitting right behind you there. That Christian did. Are the here I can do that too, but mine are bigger. Ha, ha,
Oh, look at you.
I think I
ha.
have them.
But
Right
are we
there.
yeah, I saw them behind you there. So are they going to continue to put all the rest of the albums out?
You got them. Wow.
Jeff brought his.
We want some vinyl releases though.
Man, you're prepared.
How about this one from your past?
Yeah. There you go.
I
Wow.
was going to ask you about that, but that's totally off topic. I was wondering if you were starting that group because I see you only like on one album, I guess, right? So
Yeah. I think I did 3
you and your
solos on
brother.
that recording. Love Hero, fantastic guys as well. So, but anyways, yeah. I mean, this obviously talks about the rest of the catalog. But I mean, of course it's a financial situation that we need to to work around somehow. So yeah.
Do you know, have the 2 reissues already? Have they been selling pretty well? I know I'm glad they just got some over here in the US, but I ordered mine right from, his site because I wasn't sure anybody was going to get them. And then I'm like, oh, I should have waited because now they got them and they're cheaper. But have they been selling pretty well? People know about them? Did they fly out
Well,
the door?
it's. I mean, well, they haven't sold out just yet. Hopefully they will, because I think selling them out will make an, do you say, incentive of doing the next batch, so to speak, perhaps next albums and stuff like that. I mean, Christian did a thorough job to with these releases. I mean, they're properly mastered. The graphics are properly done. We worked together properly, me and Christian and the rest of the guys in the band, of course.
Didn't
And with
CJ
the
remaster
sorry,
Torb?
yeah,
Yeah, CJ remastered these, right?
yeah, that's correct. Yeah,
He did a great job.
They
yeah,
sound
absolutely.
phenomenal on vinyl for
Yeah,
sure.
he's brilliant in many ways, CJ. So yeah, we're happy to have him on those records, and we have good collaboration, and that is what I mean by doing it thoroughly. I mean, it's to have. I mean, I had so many over the years, so many suggestions from record companies that wanted to do the reissues of these, and they just, and I said, sorry, the reissues are locked by the record company, and a lot of the times the new record company said, okay, let's do it and let's get sued. Uh, and I said
Ask
no.
forgiveness later.
Yeah, I said no, sorry, won't do that. So, but I mean, these are done the right way, and I'm really happy that it turned out that way, and that CJ was involved, that Janne Stark, who did all the graphics, fantastic. He's a great guitar player as well, Janne, and Christian, of course, and yeah.
Well, so Torb, you mentioned something, and we don't mean to harp on the past, meaning it's not we're just like stuck on Veni Domine, but please remember something, and I mean this as a positive. You don't forget your first love. And Veni Domine was our introduction to you and your brother Thomas and Frederick and everybody in the band. And you guys were doing something different. And I'm not disparaging your current works because they all sound great. Cell 9 sounds absolutely great. But let's go back several years, and here's this band that's not only part power metal, but they have a little bit of a doom tinge to them. And then there's some progressiveness to them. And you mentioned, I wrote this down because you said this. You said that you all wanted to do something special and something that would stand out. And brother, you did it. And I think that's why, and please remember, this is the first time, and just like the last month and a half, maybe, that these have been made like readily available in the States from the time that they were first released.
Yeah.
So these remasters are very special to us. And I want to make mention of a couple things real quick and then get your thoughts. In 2010, HM Magazine, Jeff's wearing the shirt there for Heaven's Metal, but HM Magazine ranked Fall Babylon Fall at number 38 on their list of the top 100 Christian metal albums of all time. So this was ranked number 38 by a very prominent Christian hard music magazine. Angelic Warlord, Andrew Rockwell, who does that. It's a very well-known Christian metal critique site. Not only was Fall Babylon Fall, but also Material Sanctuary. Both of these albums he rated no less than 100%. And he's not an easy sell. So Torb, I mean, you guys did something special and it stood out. So just I hope you have positive thoughts on that. What are your thoughts, brother?
Now you want
Well,
to get back together and do a new album because you were so convincing. Yeah. The band must reform the world.
yeah, you guys are too nice. Well, when we started out, we really wanted to be the best band in the world. That was, I mean, we gave it all. We rehearsed like crazy and spent all the time and money we could spare to make it happen. So being rated number 38 it's quite far from being rated number one. That was our aim, if you get what I mean. I mean, I don't mean to be disrespectful about anything, but I mean, we really wanted to be the best we could be, and just being on the chart is fantastic, absolutely. But our aim was really we wanted to be really good. So I'm looking back at it now, I mean, it's very humbling to to have this. I mean, just to have people think that we did something great. And I mean, music is one thing, but being touched is something else. Um, and we had quite a few back in the day. It was letters, you know. We
Yeah.
got especially from the US. We got a lot of letters from the US, you know, with heartbreaking testimonies, you know, and I'm getting emotional.
You
Yeah,
mean a
so
lot to us, brother. You guys mean a lot to us. And Cell 9 is great and nothing disparaging. We're trying to convey how special you guys are. You brought the great music filled with the greatest message, the good news of Christ,
yeah.
and it blessed people such as us. And we just want you to know how much we love you guys. I mean, it was so awesome.
And it was so
Well, thank
unique
you.
for the time. I mean, especially, I mean, not only just in general, but in the Christian market, you guys were that. And I wanted you to be number one on the list, but 38 people fighted against me. So I was pushing for number one, just so you know. So,
You're our champion, huh?
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I got outvoted by them other guys, so you know.
Yeah,
But
they're
it
no
was
good.
special from the get-go, just like I say, for those of us in the Christian realm, it was just like one of the most unique and awesome sounding projects. And so we really just latched onto that for all the albums. So it was really great.
Well,
I'll,
thank you guys. Yeah,
I'll tell you something, Torb. Now, these are the remasters, and I had the originals too. When I see these two albums, though, what it reminds me of is my mom purchased these albums for me years ago. And my mom's now with the Lord Jesus.
mm,
And so there's another special link, my
yeah,
mom, Christian metal, Veni Domine, my mom got those for me, and so it's
fantastic.
extra
Yeah.
special.
Will you feel my blood crying from the
We're going to move on here in a second, outside of Veni Domine. But I do want to ask you about something. Now, we always have what we call the pass button on the table. That's where if we ask a question and maybe it's best left unanswered, just say, hey, we're going to hit the pass button, and that's understood.
Yeah,
So the writing process for the fourth full-length album, the Album of Labor,
yeah,
that began in 1997, but then it didn't see the light of day. Here came Spiritual Wasteland in 1998, and then the Album of Labor, it didn't see the light of day until 2004. I'm just curious about the delay. What was the cause for the delay with that?
yeah, yeah. That's. I think we might use the pass button a lot there. No, just kidding. It was a lot of different. It was a messy time, to be honest. I mean, I remember we did a tour in Europe in '96 with Saving Machine. I think the US band Saving Machine, and I remember we played the songs for Spiritual Wasteland in the tour bus, you know, to the guys, and so everything was like we always moved. We were always very early with. I mean, I remember when we recorded Fall Babylon Fall in Eastbourne in England, we were doing Material Sanctuary already because I remember the riff of playing the riff, Material Sanctuary riff to the guys in the band, and they was like, oh yeah, yeah, that will be on the next album and stuff. So we always were in front of the process, to so to speak. We really wanted to be well prepared all the time, you know. And that's the way we work, you know. We really wanted to be. We rehearsed a lot. We wanted to be on time. We wanted to be there, you know. We wanted to show up at our best all the time. So Spiritual Wasteland, and I think I mean, there's no secret that we had a kind of a fallout with our record label at the time. Um, we didn't really agree on Spiritual Wasteland on many levels. It was yeah, it was a really tough album to make to get it done. So, and it was delayed for different reasons. I mean, both Raine and Styrbjörn, who was the record label, the guys from Heavy Load, Swedish heavy metal band Heavy Load, from the, I guess it's the first Swedish heavy metal band ever. And I mean, we learned so much from them, but we didn't really see eye to eye on different topics during the production and whatever, you know. So yeah, so things I guess started with Spiritual Wasteland, that we wanted to release it like two years before it actually was released. That's from my memory anyway. So then we came to Album of Labor, and Fredrik got some sort of illness in his throat, so he couldn't really sing the way he used to sing, you know. And he went to a lot of different specialists. And the thing is, we started to the drums are recorded in for Album of Labor. The drums are recorded on the analog 2-track 24 channels in the studio for the record company studio. But I mean, it was in the contract that they would provide the studio and producing it and stuff like that. But as things turned out, it became slower and slower, the process, and at the point where I decided to, okay, I will go down to the studio and I will digitalize the tapes to the computer. I mean, this was like in 1999, 200s perhaps, 2000s perhaps. I mean, technology was expensive back then. I mean, to get 24 great conversions, AD, DA, to sync it up, you know, it was a process. Luckily, I was at the company back then. I worked as a sales rep for music products that I could loan from that place. So I went down to the studio and tried to figure this out, to connect everything and to transfer the drums from Album of Labor to digital, which I did. It wasn't perfect transferred, but that's another story. And that was lucky, because 3 months later, I think the studio was flooded, you know, so everything was destroyed in the studio.
Is that why it was called the Album of Labor?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. We had. I mean, I remember with Fredrik, he was really struggling. I mean, Fredrik is he's a great. I mean, back in the day when we recorded Fall Babylon Fall or Material or even Spiritual Wasteland, I mean, the vocals on Material Sanctuary is out of this world. I mean, even if I listen to it today, I think that guy, he's nuts, you know. And we pushed the hours. I mean, we were working so. I mean, I think I think we sound checked the drums for Material Sanctuary. I think it was like 12 or 14 days just to get the sound right on the drums. You know, it was very thorough and very exhausting, you know, and Thomas back then, he had this huge kit, you know. I mean, it was toms all over the place, you know. And in the middle of the sound check, and we tried everything, and Styrbjörn, the drum tech in the studio, said, "Oh, I'm not happy. We need to change the drum heads on every drum." So we just, okay, here we go, change everything and start over, you know. So it took quite a while. So, and Fredrik, he was just putting the vocals. It was, I mean, he could sing for hours like that, you know. The high pitch, the low. I mean, normally we would use the morning to track his low pitch before he was warm, you know, because I mean, his range is from I mean, really deep, that you only hear you can't hear the voice, you just feel it, you know. It's so deep. And the high is like, you know, the dogs will come home, you know. So he was and going from that to, I mean, he couldn't sing for 20 minutes, you know. for on the album of labor because the voice wasn't there, you know. So we went to a lot of different doctors and specialists and whatever, you know. So yeah, it was a tough time, you know.
Well, Jeff
To
is
get
a drummer. I'm just curious, Jeff, does that sound like a dream come true, spending 14 days on just the drums, or is that a nightmare?
I've never done any major recording, and when we did, I've recorded one album in the studio, and it was just like, all right, hook up the drums, now go. It was like there was nothing.
That sounds like a dream.
Yeah, it was definitely low budget. So
Torb, let's,
Mhm.
I'm kind of watching the time here. I'd like to talk quickly about some other things that you've been involved with. I mentioned in the introduction, Divine Fire. You were
Yep.
approached by Christian Lilligren to do the guitars for the first album, Glory Thy Name, and that was in 2005. How did Christian approach you? What did he say? Hey, you know,
Yeah, what did he say? 2005. You know, I've known Christian for forever, basically. We go back till before, I mean, on the demo tape time, you know, with Glorify and Veni Domine, and he had Borderline and whatnot, the early Narnia and Modest Attraction. So I mean, Veni Domine and Modest Attraction was kind of in the time, parallel in time,
wow.
basically. So I mean, we kept in touch during the years. And now he's a dear friend of mine, and I totally respect him, and he's done tons of good stuff. Not only music. I mean, he's a good guy. So basically, for the Divine, I think I was approached to do. I think I only did a solo, to be honest, on the Divine Fire. I think Yanni Stefanovic did the guitar work on that, and there was a lot of guys doing solos, and I was one of them. The thought was that I was supposed to mix that album, the Divine Fire album. So I mean, the first album I ever mixed. I mean, going back to, sorry, I'm putting you in a bad space here with time, perhaps.
You're fine.
So album of labor. I rescued the tapes before everything got destroyed in that studio. So that's when I started my studio, basically. So I needed to finish the album. So how do you? I mean, I had some. I mean, I've recorded some earlier, so I knew some bits and pieces. But I mean, it's a different world, you know, to drive the recordings yourself and do it from home and wherever you can find place to record. And luckily, we had the drums, you know. But later on, I mixed the album of labor, and it wasn't released until way later because I don't know. I think the record company didn't really enjoy that album, to be honest, you know. So that's why it took quite a while to release it. So that was my first album that I mixed. So Christian approached me regarding Divine Fire if I could mix that album because I was in the mixing part of things now. So yeah, so that's why we really reconnected on that one. So yeah, that was a long answer to a very short and
No, no,
specific
no, no, no,
question.
no, no. You're fine, brother. So also you played lead guitar on Audiovision, the Focus album, and that was in 2010, and Thomas was on that album.
Yeah.
Your brother, your thoughts on recording Oz Fox's The Way for the
Yeah.
album?
Yeah, I mean, Striper was a band that I listened to in their early days, you know. When back in the day when I was playing with this band Disciple, you know, I remember I got this cassette, you know, and I had this Walkman copy of whatever it was, you know, that really didn't keep it was wobbling, you know.
Yes, I remember those. Uh-huh.
So I got this tape and I listened to it and I thought because I heard Sacred Warrior I heard before Sacred Warrior and Idle Cure, Bloodgood, of course, and now along came Striper, and it was really the first Christian band that with Christian lyrics and stuff that I really connected to. It doesn't mean the other bands that I listen to. I mean, you connect differently with
Right.
and so forth. So I mean, Bloodgood, we had shared stage with Bloodgood a couple of years back when Michael still was with us. Unfortunately, he left us now, but um, so I mean, great band. Bloodgood's great band, fantastic, you know. And anyhow, so Striper, I really enjoyed Soldiers Under Command was the first album that I heard with Striper, and then I listened back to the Yellow and Black Attack, and I thought it was great as well, you know. Then I kind of lost track of them, you know. So recording The Way, Oz Fox, I mean, great. I mean, Striper is a great band. I mean, you can say whatever you like about Striper, but they are a fantastic band. We had the luxury to open a few dates for them with Audiovision actually on their, I think it was their 25th anniversary tour in Europe, and I think we opened for them in Germany and Sweden and a few shows, and it struck me how great they are. I mean, they're really good band, really. I was really impressed. I don't know. I haven't followed Striper that close, but I was really impressed by their output and their focus. Yeah.
I think, Torb, if I may say, as a fan and just, following them for many years, they are a lot like you guys in Veni Domine in the fact of you guys strove for perfection, and Striper did too. And
Absolutely, they
and
did.
it
Yeah.
shows in both you guys. And incidentally, you mentioned the late great Michael Bloodgood.
Yeah.
Rex was privileged to see Michael at his last performance
Oh, yeah.
years ago. So anyway, that wasn't Immortal Fest, was it, Rex? Or was
No, it was before Immortal Fest began. It was Bloodgood and White Cross together.
Hmm.
But yeah, that was incredible. Yeah.
So Torb?
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah. So
I,
sorry about the Audiovision. Yeah, it was anyhow. It was great to record the Oz Fox song. I mean, I did the recording of it and produced drums and guitars and bass and stuff like that. And then another guy did Erik Mortensson, fantastic producer and singer and guitar player from Sweden. Produced the vocals and did a mix for Audiovision. Did a great job.
Jeff, we're kind of winding down. I'd like to ask Jeff, you and Rex, any other questions for Torb that y'all might have?
I got a question. Are there any unreleased Veni Domine songs sitting in the can or anything, Torb, that would be interesting or worth releasing, or just curious about that?
I don't think so. I mean, we had a few bits and pieces that we worked on, but we
Yep.
basically wrote what we wanted
Yep.
for the moment, and like for instance with the intro, the meeting for the song for Material Sanctuary, for instance. It's typical Frederick, he's great. He's not always on time, but he's great. So we hadn't heard that song because we told him, Frederick, you need to finish the song now because we're recording now, Oh yeah, I will do it, I will do it, I will do it. And then we started recording, and there it was. Okay, this is the song. So we didn't rehearse it really before we recorded the meeting, which is a fantastic song. It's a great opener, and so it was kind of a surprise to record it. But that's the way it works sometimes. So
Yeah.
basically, we almost didn't have time to write the songs we needed.
That and I would really love to see those demos come out. I hate to be a
Harp on that, boy. Beat that
Yeah,
down.
but I'm telling you, especially since you're telling me, Torb, that you already have them mastered. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
That's half the battle right
yeah,
there.
that's half the battle. You're already halfway there. So just
Mm.
as a fan, just
Mm.
telling you how I see it there. I would love to see those released, please.
Yeah. The thing is, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I mean, you guys are being way too kind to me, to the band. But yeah, we will see. I mean, we're totally open
Yeah.
for it. But I mean, some. And the thing is, and kind of feel bad about it, but I mean, I wouldn't mind having them out, but I'm not super interested in driving that, you know.
Understand.
I got so many other things going on,
Mhm.
and but I think I would be surprised if they did not get released. To be honest, I think they will be released.
Okay.
I have
Wonderful.
nothing specific on the table
Right,
as we
right.
speak, but I mean, now that Matthew Hunt is doing the selling the re-releases in the US
Yep.
now, and we've been in talks
Sure.
back and forth, and he's a great guy as well. I
Yep.
mean,
Yep.
there's a lot of great guys out there,
Yep.
guys.
Yep. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. I hope I can please you guys.
Oh yeah. Oh, you're fine.
We want
Or
more. We want more.
Yeah, that's actually the chant from the Gary Moore live album. We want more. We want more.
Well, it's kind of
So
tough because whenever when they reissued the first two albums like this, I mean, I'm sure there's got to be a lot of people out there saying, I wonder if they're going to get back together and do a
Yeah.
new album. It
yeah,
renews interest in a whole new era of people, hopefully,
right.
at least,
Yeah.
yeah,
Correct.
And so, when those come out, people start wondering, is there more? Is there
yeah,
more? And so,
yeah. I've heard that as well, and as much as I appreciate, I mean, it's Veni Domine. I mean, Veni Domine was released almost worldwide back in the day, so we have small groups of friends to the band a bit all over the place, which is fantastic. But it's not masses, you know. It's not super many,
Right.
so it's. I mean, we wouldn't sell. I don't want to be, but I mean, I would be very surprised if a lot of people all of a sudden started to buy the CDs. But I mean, and that's not really the point of making music, to be honest. That's not where we're coming from, you know. We want to,
Mhm.
and I guess perhaps that's the point. I mean, there's so much. I'm not in my life. I can only speak for myself. I mean, I want to be of good use where I am, you know. And right now, it feels like I'm at the best use at my church, for instance, or at my work. Uh, the music that I make is not super interested. People are not super interested in it, and I mean that's fine. I mean you can't decide what people should like or not like or whatever, you know. It doesn't mean it's bad or whatever. It's just not time for it, you know. So I mean it's I really want to use my time, make the most of it, you know. And I'm not sure that is Veni Domine at the point, you know. I wouldn't mind because I mean we still are in contact with. I mean me and Fredrik talk regularly and everything, and Thomas, of course, my brother, and Gabriel and Mats, and we also had talks with Olav, who played the keyboard on the last Veni Domine album, you know, Light. He's fantastic. I also play in his band, Olav's band, Grandstand Symphonic Band. They have a few CDs out, and hopefully we will get the new CD out as well. So I mean, it's a lot of things going on.
I get the feeling everybody in Sweden just knows each other. I know it's probably a bigger city than that, but I swear
No,
the amount of crossovers that you see with you all
yeah,
playing on this band and that, and it's like they know
yeah,
everybody knows everybody. There's only 10 Christian musicians over there, and so they
yeah,
put out everything together. So
yeah. We're just 10.
and
It's
there's
just
just like
10 of
10 of
us.
you. They just keep
Yeah,
renaming their stuff and doing it.
Well,
That's why I was surprised when I looked back and saw you all were on the Hero album. I'm like, I didn't,
yeah,
I knew their other stuff, but I totally didn't realize that you all were in the beginning of that. I'm just like, yeah, they all know each other. They just throw together these projects and move
yeah.
on
I
to that.
mean, and with Mike, I mean Mike Hero, he had his band Sons of Thunder
Right.
before Hero, and I mean we actually did some shows together back in the day, and I think it was. I can't recall when that album was put together. I mean, it was after Veni Domine, I guess, and I felt we had time to do something else, and
It came out in 2006. Oh, it came out in 2006, so it would have been right
oh yeah,
after Labor and somewhere in
yeah,
that time frame that you had to have recorded it.
yeah, because I think we weren't really sure what was happening after Labor, um, because after Labor, sorry, I'm ranting on again. After Labor, we had the record company had one option left on the deal. And that's that's the story behind 2359. The
Yeah.
that was I remember I watched I had this projector clock in my bedroom. I can see and it was actually I was just waiting for the day to turn in order to have the option out because they had we had the album ready and they had the option 1 month a 1 month to decide whether they want to use the option or not. And we were really hoping that they would not use the option. So the last day on that month, I was just waiting for the for the clock to tick, to actually move over to the next month, so that the option would be obsolete or whatever you call it. Yeah. So after that, so 2359 was the name of the album because it was. I remember it so vividly that just waiting for the time period to end, to go shop for something else. Yeah.
Torb, I've got a couple Facebook.com/Veni Domine official, Facebook.com Cell9 the band.
Hmm.
Do you have any other so our viewers can know and friends out there? I will post the links in the description below. Are there any other social places that people can check your works out?
All of those are not, we are not really active on those. I mean, Veni Domine sometimes, I mean, we don't have a band anymore, really. I mean, we sometimes I do check those out just to see if we got any messages we really want to don't let the friends of the band leave them hanging, but we don't really have and hence the conversation around this interview, because it feels like it's kind of past, it's in the past, but it's good to talk on memories. It is, and nice to meet you, of course. So, but I don't have any really, no, those are the ones I would say.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Celine is still active, but
Right.
we're not really there just yet.
Gotcha. Gotcha. My last question for you, Torb, is if you could make a brief statement to leave a lasting impression with your friends and fans, what would you wish to tell them?
Mm, thank you. I mean, I would say, I would say like this: if you are a Christian, if you consider yourself a Christian, then I would say, please engage in the community, engage in church, or just engage, show up, because we're living in really rough times these days. Really, we need to keep together. Really, I mean, it's important. And if you're not a Christian, I would say, I mean, consider Christianity or consider the options and weigh against the other against the other, and find someone that you can talk about these things, because I think time is short. Yeah, I
It,
think yeah.
it seems that way. And so it's funny you mentioned that, Tor, because at the end of every show, we always like to correlate something that the band has done with scripture. And we believe, of course, scripture is God's word and we want to honor the Lord. And so we read a little bit of scripture that correlates with something the band has done. And I chose the song Wisdom Calls from Fall Babylon Fall, and it's almost verbatim from Proverbs chapter 1. And so I selected verses 7 and 32 and 33 from Proverbs 1 regarding wisdom. And it says this: the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. For the waywardness of the simple will kill them, and the complacency of fools will destroy them. But whoever listens to me, meaning wisdom, will live in safety and be at ease without fear of harm. And so the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge and wisdom. And like you said, may we strive to seek out the Lord and to seek his will and to receive his son if we haven't received his son in our hearts. And Torb, it's just been an honor to speak with you today, sir. Been wanting to do this for a long time, and you've certainly blessed us. Thank you so much for being our guest today.
Yes.
Well, thank you guys. Really enjoyable. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're gonna wave goodbye to our friends, but stick around for one more moment, Torb. Take care, everybody, and thank you for watching.
Bye.
Don't you hear the wake up call? I got some news for you. Give me a minute of your time.